Yes, guys, welcome back to SFeatley here for the special after press show. Yeah, it's not easy on a weekend, but we're going to talk about obviously the Newcastle takeover, as well as like and subscribe button. But we're going to if is Carl, 100% Mags is here, Newcastle fan. How are you, my friend?
Not bad, mate. Absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing.
I bet you are, because obviously, as the big news obviously is about Newcastle. We've also got John, Newcastle fan as well, in there.
Yeah,
How
mate.
are you, my friend?
How are you doing? Yeah, right. How are you doing?
John.
You good?
Buzzing, mate. Buzzing.
Buzzing? Wow. What a time to be a Newcastle fan, eh? Time to be alive.
It's absolutely amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, there's a lot of fans. There's a lot of clubs like Arsenal. Sorry, Steve, but Arsenal's supposed to be very, very worried. Very, very worried. And
I think all clubs are going to be worried.
Yeah,
I think there will be. Yeah.
Because I will just say is that as much as like where you are right now, the what we're talking about here is a lot of money, and I want to quickly share something about that, which is show a couple of images as well. But first of all, I just want to quickly show this, which is like if you look at the owners there are like Sheikh Mansour is the biggest one at 23.8 billion. You're on 320. Your owners in terms of how much they are, how much rich they are beyond. How should I put it? They're like even more rich than all the teams in the league combined.
Yeah.
Together. If I actually look at it as well, there's another table I'd show as well after this bid, and I'll quickly show it. They've just done this as well. The top 10 teams in Europe in terms of money on net worth are Man City, Salzburg. Behind you are Man City, Salzburg, Juventus, Chelsea, LA Galaxy, Arsenal, PSG, and Inter Milan. You put all them together, they're still not worth the amount that you lot are worth. It's insane right now how much you are worth, because you've got like the Prince of like Saudi Arabia, I think it is, behind you.
Yeah.
Which is like mega money. Like you're not gonna go cheap on that. So yeah. Carl, obviously you've had the era with that parasite who's finally now gone. Your initial reaction when you saw Takeover, which we all knew was like by the bigger 6 teams, but now it's finally here. What do you make of it?
Like you say, you know, we've been under that parasite for 14 years. You know, he's wanted to sell the club for 13 years. You know, a year after he came in, he wanted to be out because he knew he just couldn't handle, you know, the life of being a football owner. And, you know, he's always wanted to be out since 13 years. He's been trying to sell it for ages. You know, finally it's come along to somebody, you know, that has that money, that can just give him the money right up front. They don't want to pay it in installments, you know, and it's the best takeover possible, you know, for a club of our size, a club, you know, with a fan base like ours that, you know, passionately follow this team day in, day out. You know, it's not, I've said it on other channels in the past, you know, it's not just football to Newcastle. It's not just football in the North East, you know, it's a lifestyle. That's what it is up here in the North East, you know, it's a lifestyle. We live, we breathe it, you know, we sleep, we eat it. That's what it is for up here. And to have this kind of, you know, takeover coming in, it's not about the money neither. It's just about the fact that, you know, we've finally got somebody that is in there, knows what the club's about, knows what the passion of the fans is, you know, and wants to take this club forward. And I'm just absolutely chuffed to bits. And, you know, there is going to be people out there, you know, that don't like the whole human rights side of the things. But at the end of the day, you know, we're just fans. You know, you're a fan, John's a fan, I'm a fan, you know, of clubs at the end of the day, you know, and we can't do anything about that. You know, it's out of our hands. You know, where government sells arms to these people.
I mean, like you said, you said about that, and there's a good point you made there. But if, like, looking as an Arsenal fan, would I take the Conkeys or these Saudi owners? As much as the human rights thing is a big thing, and obviously it is, there's obviously, like you said, we can't do anything about it, and I'd rather them take over our club than the Conkeys, because at least then we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is going and winning stuff. And in the end, that's, in terms of football fans, that's what it's about. It's not about anything political, anything like that. John, your obviously reaction to it as a Newcastle fan.
Wow, I didn't expect it to go quick. I mean, I expected to be arbitration in January. I was prepared to wait for that and just see what happens after that. But listen, when I heard the news, I mean, I heard Martin Ziegler posted out a tweet, and Luke Edwards as well came out. And when I looked at Luke Edwards' tweet, I thought, oh my God, is he drinking or something? Is he having an early drink? Is he really being that positive? I thought, wow. I mean, something was going up. And then all of a sudden, all the other people were tweeting and said that they lifted the piracy, and that's the problem. If they lifted the piracy and they paid BN Sports £1 billion as compensation, then the takeover could well happen. And true to form, it did. Then 5:20 on Thursday, when the breaking news came out, I listened to Talk Sport, by the way, Ben Fletcher's come out and say that Newcastle United has been officially sold. I was driving and I nearly crashed the van into someone else's back. I heard the flipping news. I thought, whoa. And then I was so happy about it. I thought, wow, I mean, it's finally happened. I was just so emotionally drained on that day. I thought, wow, I've got to do something about this sort of. I was just so happy that we got our club back after 14 years. It feels like he's been sentenced for 14 years on Ashley's rules. I mean, I never won here. I knew from day one something wasn't quite right. When he mentioned about model globe using the car for Global for Sports Direct, I thought something ain't right. But the bottom line is, well, I will say, we got our club back. And another thing is, right, when you upset club legends like Keegan and Shearer, you are on a high for out. And also he's drinking is you lot, Steve, back in 2008, we lost 3-0. He was caught drinking in one of the director's box as well. And once he did that, he downed it down on one, right away. That's when he turned on him. But listen, we got our club back, and man, that's the savior. And you got big up to Amanda, big up to Jamie, the Ruben brothers as well. Big up to Keith Patterson if he's watching, and Steve Wraith. And come out and say, kept us informed. Boom, absolutely fantastic. Great for the club, City, and we have got our club back.
Yeah, obviously, of course, you've got your club back from that parasite. It was more interesting about Howard Fraser and everything like that. I'm just going to quickly look up. Did see it, but there is a little bit of a problem, and I will just quickly, obviously, bring this up because obviously this has been struggling to get through because of obviously the bigger clubs having their being angry about it, and as much as angry Premier League clubs demand an emergency meeting on Newcastle deal. Other 19 clubs in opposition on the Newcastle takeover. Clubs concerned Premier League's brand could be damaged, and this is probably because of how much money they're able to put in. And if you're more than what all of those teams combined, I'm sure that's probably why those teams are probably thinking, hang on, there's something not right here because we're not going to be able to compete on that level. So, I mean, Carl, what do you say to that? Because it is a problem. It is a problem because you could quite easily outspend all of us. And we could struggle to compete.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, it is a problem, but like I don't know if you've seen the interview with Amanda Stavely. She's talked to quite a few different media outlets and that, and she said in the interview that they would be staying within the FFP guidelines. You know, they're not going to throw loads and loads of money at this. They are going to be, you know, clever and keep within them FFP guidelines, you know, not to break the rules. We don't want to be doing that. You know, we want to be doing this legitimately. We don't want to be doing it against the rules, you know, like we've seen with the likes of Manchester City spending well over the odds and blasting like 100 million and stuff on right backs. It's just ludicrous. We don't want to see that. You know, we want to see like a much better approach to the transfer window than we've seen, you know, under the Mike Ashley regime. You know, it was like 9-odd million or something spent over the time that he was here in a net spend when they did it up on Sky Sports. And that is just absolutely ridiculous when you look at how long he'd been at the club for as well. You know, so if we go out there and spend, like they're saying, you know, we can go out there and spend probably 190 million if we stay in the FFP guidelines. And, you know, I'd be happy with that. You know, that's better than what we've seen from Ashley in his regime. So I'd be happy with that.
This is why I said those are people who are coming out and like obviously like there's Arsenal fans that I know that are coming out saying we're finished, we're done, like we're gonna like, and we're already done and like people saying Arsenal done and finished, right? We had times where we were finishing 17th and that. So you can say that all you want, but like we're not finished, we're not done yet. Because we've always had those periods and yet still come back. Every team goes through those periods. And but what I will say, and big up Bargav, I hope you're well, by the way. I did send you a link as well. What you guys don't need to do is not expected instant success. You've got the investment and these new owners, my club's fan base. This is the point. I mean, when you get these new owners, obviously with FFP, it's going to take time to build up because as more the amount you could have in the wage budget grows 10% probably every transfer window, I think, with FFP. So it's going to take time. So you'll max out your limit and then go 10%, and it'll. This is why people are saying it's not going to take. It's only going to take 2-3 years. No. This is going to take 5 or 10 years. There's no doubt. This is going to take 5 to 10 years, something like that. I mean, people saying you might get through the back door of the Champions League. That's not certain. You got to so, yeah. Like I said, there's still a lot to be discussed. I'd say. And there's still a lot to be sorted out. I think there's a lot of problems also with the club as well internally that needs to be sorted out.
That's something that they've. Sorry, that's something that they've said with like Amanda Stavely. She's already been to the training ground. She's looked around and she says it's well below par for the training ground of a club that, you know, should be at the level that we are. You know, we're a really good club, historical club, probably one of the most historical clubs in English football, you know, and well recognised as well, with being a one-club city. And, you know, the training ground to be well below par is not great. You know, that just shows you the lack of respect, you know, that Ashley has shown to this club over the past 14 years. And like you say, you know, it will take time. We all know that, you know, Newcastle fans really do know that it is going to take time because 14 years, you know, is a long time for a club to be stagnant. And that is what we've been, you know, we've been stagnant. We've had an owner that has just been happy, you know, to end 17th place every season and pick up the payments, you know, from the Premier League and pick up that TV money. And now we've got, you know, them owners like Amanda Stavely, Gaddafi, the Rubens, and of course PIF, you know, coming in now, and they know what, you know, is to be done at this club, what needs to be done. And to touch on what you said earlier on at the beginning of the stream, you know, you were saying 320 billion for Newcastle. It's actually 700 billion for Newcastle in wealth because it was actually on Sky Sports. And Keith Downey was actually talking about it. It's actually 700 billion.
Beat someone while they're down, like Jesus.
Sorry about that, but I get that out there to correct that. To correct that, because it's 700 billion. That
but this is
PIF actually have.
This is what I say, and I put a tweet out about it and saying this could lead up to one thing, which is the Super League, because teams say they can't compete at this level. Someone wanted to question me and come out and say, what's this got to do with the Super League? Well, this is where you need explaining, so I'm going to explain it to you. If you've got someone like there who's in a league that's got 700 billion to play with, or basically all the money combined, and it's still like not big enough to challenge them, right? Then what you're gonna, what the clubs are gonna say is they're gonna say we need to create the Super League because we need to get the money in from that Super League, which was about 400 for just turning up at the joint, right? To be able to compete with Newcastle, to compete with the money that they're getting, right? So that's why the Super League will then become into fruition, because that's this league that they can create those sort of deals and create the amount of money that needs to be generated. Now, if people can't understand that and why this Newcastle situation could end up respawning that problem, then I think you need to go and read a bit more about football and financials a little bit more, because like that's clearly what it's going to end up doing, because the Premier League can't afford to up the ante in terms of prize money, right? I mean, the fact that you ate more in the top four, probably staying in top four, than actually spending more to go win the league, which is stupid. So that's why clubs like Man United, if you get top four with Man United, that's it. They're cool. They're fine. Their owners are fine with it. So so that's why the Premier League can't afford to up the ante with the prize money, because it's got to go across everyone, and it's got to go to investments in terms of lower league, grassroots, and everything. It's same with UEFA as well. So so it is going to cause a massive problem in that sense. I mean, do you want to see the teams trying that sort of thing if they don't probably get a better deal from the Premier League or get more stringent restrictions on spending? John?
Well, I want to go back to the FFP, if you don't mind. I mean, the FFP, I mean, what is the FFP? I mean, I think they're still going to spend it beyond their means anyway. They are going to spend beyond their means. They must scrap out the window, by the way. That's number one. Yeah? I mean, they're just trying to stop teams. It means basically you spend what you earn, right? So, if am I correct? You spend what you earn, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, John.
Thanks, man. What if you only made, say, 50 million? 50 million going to get a lot in there these days. Do you know what I mean? That's why it's important. I mean, to get rich owners to come in and spend what they have to do, sort of thing. You know what I mean? But it's going to come to a point that there will be a Super League. I hope I'm wrong. There will be a Super League, right, in about 5 years' time. And I'm glad it didn't take place, because it's just more money at the end of the day. Money all the time. The 6 teams that walked away wanted a Super League. They came running back because they got found out by the fans, right? The Premier League were happy to allow it to happen. They were allowed to do it. And they got, fined 25 million between those 6 clubs. Slap on the wrist. Yet, these same big 6 who objected not to have a takeover, and Daniel Levy, right? I mean, Spurs, the chairman, I think he needs to engage with Spain before he keeps his mouth shut and start worrying about the situation regarding Harry Kane. He's going to lose him in January, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And then that is sort of like the big names that have been mentioned already. I mean, like, in terms of manager, we all know Steve Bruce is gone. As soon as they find a replacement, he is gone. He is gone. That is the end of it. He's not getting any second chances for that. Who do you think? I think January maybe. I think the team will stay up. Definitely think if Bruce can get the results he's getting already, you're definitely going to stay up if you get another manager. what I want to ask probably is who do you see as like your best option as a long-term project manager? Probably because I think that would be sort of your best bet rather than an instant success manager. And then, like, what's your most realistic targets maybe in the summer? Because don't forget, like, people can say, oh, we can go buy Mbappe or this, that, and the other. If they haven't got Champions League football, there's no way it's going to happen. They ain't going to buy that and stuff like that. And I've been Bargo as well into this before. But anyway, I'm going to ask you, Carl. Who would you go for as a manager?
For a manager, for me, it would be at the moment Conte is the one that is being talked about quite a bit for to bring in as a manager. I would absolutely love that.
Are you sure that's the right time though? Because he's not really a project manager though.
He's done it at Chelsea. He's done it in Milan. He's proved that he's able to build a team and able to push forward with teams as well. So I think he would be the perfect choice going forward, especially as well. You need somebody that's going to come in, and knows what to do with the players, because the current crop of players at Newcastle at the moment, there's not many of them going to still be there. If you look at it, most of them are going to be getting shipped off come the few years down the line. A lot of them are going to be moving away. The likes of Jeff Hendrick, he's no longer probably going to be at the club. John Joe Shelby's probably not going to be there for much longer neither, because these new owners, they want to come in, they want, like you were saying earlier on, they want to have the team competing and they want to win the Premier League title in 5 to 10 years. To do that, they're going to have to be competing in about 2 to 3 years, for other trophies like the FA Cup, League Cup, and be in Europe as well in about 4 to 5 years. But all of that comes down the line. We've got to look at getting rid of the likes of Steve Bruce, who clearly isn't fit for purpose in the Premier League. 7 wins in 37 games is absolutely ridiculous. He hasn't even managed to get a win this season for it. And that just shows you, what kind of manager he is. So he needs to be gone. And from what has been circulating around, it seems like he might be gone pretty soon as well. As they're talking about Graham Jones being the caretaker boss for the upcoming game against Spurs as well, which will be the first game under new ownership. So for me, it will be Conte. Obviously, loads of people will have their own opinions. For players coming in January, I would go along the lines of your players that are established in the Premier League, the likes of your James Ward-Prowse, maybe Tarkowski. Look at maybe Wilfred Zaha, players like that, established players in the Premier League. Look at the way Man City did it, when they got taken over. Their first signing was Gareth Barry. Then they went to a marquee signing in Robinho. It doesn't mean just because we've got all this money, that we're going to go into January and we're going to buy Kylian Mbappe, Haaland, and all these crazy players. It doesn't mean that, we've got to be sensible about this. We've got to look at established players first and then try and get in a few marquee signings, which they've already said, they do want marquee signings to come in, and they probably do have a few lined up, but we'll have to wait and see for all that stuff.
Hang on. Luca. This, like, Luca, man, like, this guy's he was having a fit, like, on Twitter last night, and I'm like, why are you having a fit? Like, we're already crap, mate. What's the point? What's the point in getting mad? Like, I don't really get, like, really cheesed off with Arsenal anymore. I'm just like, yeah, we're crap. Oh well. Like, I've got bigger things to worry about, to make me upset about, rather than Arsenal Football Club. Right? So I'm like, why is that? Like, it's not going to change. So I can sit there and stamp my feet saying it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. But it's not going to change, is it? We're still run by these owners, but there you go. But it will take 5 to 10 years because of the mess that Newcastle are in to start with. Right? Because Newcastle are in a mess, they've been run poorly. Right? That's why they're at the bottom of the league. So it's going to take them 2 or 3 years to even get up to our level, right, to even start competing towards Europe. before then, because unlike say Man City, who took 5 or 6 years, they didn't have the amount of competition we have now. The competition now is even probably bigger than it was 10 years ago. So it's gonna take. That's why they said 5 or 10 years, because it will take time, right? Because you still got to try and attract these players to the club when they're at the bottom of the league. That's why realistic targets would be like your players like Ward-Prowse, that are, if they're in the right team and the right manager, could push up towards those higher places. So, I mean, John, how realistic would you say for you it's going to take Newcastle to get up to where you want to be, or back to where you were at one point, which is challenging for the league?
Yeah, good point. Right. I mean, first of all, our fans need to be patient. That's the most important thing. Be patient.
I think you've been patient enough, to be honest.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But getting under elite managers like Conte, I mean, according to like Gazzetta dello Sport in Italy, and I do love Italian football, by the way, I mean, that ain't going to happen anytime soon. I mean, and not come to Newcastle. The only way to come to Newcastle is for challenging, and they've got a huge project. But you're not coming to Newcastle if you're fighting relegation. So another thing is with Conte, he will not. I don't think he'll come be manager again until the end of the season. He may want to take a break, but other than that, I think he's a decent manager. But he's a long-term manager for me. You look at, right? He spent 2 years in Milan, 3 years at Juve, 2 years at Chelsea, right? Is this the manager you really want in Newcastle? I want to see like a 4-year plan, 4 or 5 year plan with that manager sort of thing, yeah. And I just heard rumor on the Daily Mirror that they want Graham Potter as the next manager. Is he the number one choice? I think he's a decent player. I'd take him.
God, this is you know what? This is the thing. This is exactly what I've been saying. Everyone moans about Graham Potter at Arsenal, but they don't seem to realise what he does. You give Graham Potter an attacking side with strikers, you get bags of goals. But I mean, I want to ask Bargav, as an Arsenal fan, what's your reaction to it, Bargav?
As an Arsenal fan, I'm disappointed, but for the betterment of football, I swear, like, I mean, Newcastle now, a Newcastle fan should be gassed. I mean, they're going to get into the Champions League in about 4 to 5 years. I don't think it's going to be like, I don't think it's going to take like 10 years, but the biggest thing is like the manager. I think Conte could come if you give him a decent salary and like you give him a war chest, because that's what managers crave. Imagine Conte getting like 200 million pounds to spend. They're absolutely gonna take that, and they're gonna come there and like buy their players.
Yeah,
like it's a project, but it's easier than like, you know, the Arteta situation was come in and take over and like have your own. That situation took time. With Newcastle, they're gonna look at that, and the only problem with Newcastle I can see is like, you know, it's not like London or like a major destination, so there might not be like, you know, like there might not be a lot of interest to like stick around for like 4 or 5 years. But some managers like that life, so you got to find like the right manager for that. Whoever comes in, like, you better give him like a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
But it is like one of those like things, like it's at rock. I mean, for example, like you're not relegated, so it's not like that bad. So you can really build around that. And are you stuck with like a lot of player contracts? That's the only question I have.
Yeah. What'd you say, Carl? Are you stuck? What's your problem with that? In terms of contract?
I think, to be honest, there was a lot of contracts running out this season. Most of them players got moved on, and quite a lot of the other ones that didn't get moved on got contracts renewed. So we do like have the likes of Gale and all that on contracts, which, you know, I was wondering why we did that, to be honest. Especially, I'm sure, Ashley would have known this was coming. This takeover was going to be coming down the line. I don't know if he would have known that it was going to be completed or not, though, so early, because, we did think that we're going to have to wait till January for that to happen, and see what happened with the arbitration case. But it's happened a lot faster than we would have thought, and the consortium said that as well. They thought, it has happened a lot faster than they would have thought it would happen. So it's sort of like they're having to jump in quick with the plans, but we do have a lot of contracts on players, and I'm sure there will be players, like I said just earlier on, that there will be players moving on. We've got to get that squad down to a good amount. We've got to be able to get the squad revamped as well. Obviously, the likes of players like Maxi would still be at the club. Callum Wilson would probably still be at the club. Joe Willock. Also, other players, like Martin Dubravka. We've still got some really good players there, so them will all be at the club for the foreseeable future at this time being. But like I said earlier, the likes of John Joe Shelby, Emil Kraft, Jeff Hendrick, they'll all be going, So I don't think the contract thing's really much of a problem, to be honest. We'll have to deal with it, obviously, as it comes, but that's just going to be what is to be, at the moment with the new owners. They've got a lot of stuff that they've got to clean up that's been there from the past regime, and that's what happens, when you come in to something like this, a stagnated club that's been just forgotten about by its owner, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right, and I totally agree. I want to quickly show something quickly as well, because obviously transfer rumors now going around. But just quickly show this as well, is that first of all, they've also got, look, you might want to do this later. I'll share the link in the private chat actually, so you guys might want to do this later. It's like a Newcastle to-do list, right? So we could actually go through it. So, but like they're in the race now. You're in the race for apparently Icardi. Coutinho is wanted as a first signing as well. But you could have about 205 million to splash on signings by the summer. But right, I'll go through it. We'll go through this actually. So I hope everyone can read this. But there you go. How much would you guys say that needs to be spent in the January transfer window to avoid relegation?
I'd go 100 million.
Okay, John?
We're going to be the biggest spenders in January for sure. And going back to Cole's point as well about the players only keep 6 or 7. The rest can just go away. The rest aren't good enough for Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I've got to say, it'd be more than 100 million. Let's say 150, because we need to start planning, and it starts now. 150.
Anyone? Do you agree with that, Cole, or are you sticking with 100?
Yeah, I'd agree actually with John on that. Actually, thinking about it, we would probably be spending big in the window. So yeah, I would go with 150 as well.
Who do you want to fund the new operation? Stavely, Rumoran, other, which you can type in here, or Jamie Rubin?
For me, it would be Yasser Romani. Just purely because of him being, the chairman for the PIF.
Well, Amanda's going to be director, isn't she? And Jamie's going to be one of the directors as well. Yeah. It's going to have to be Yasser for me. He's our chairman, so yeah.
What should be the board's top 3 leading priorities? Local infrastructure investment, clean up stadium, improved transfer training centre, maintain and expand the work of Newcastle United's Football Club's foundation, ex-players recruited as ambassadors, new managers, expansion, growth, fan base in overseas territories, academy investment, player squad overhaul, tie up big commercial deals. I'm going to start with Carl, your top three. And we'll try and do this as quickly as possible. Give me your top three out of them.
I would go new manager, player overhaul, and probably tie up big commercial deals.
Okay. John.
Yeah, new manager. That's an absolute must. He'll be gone by Monday. He's done. He's done at a club.
Yeah, he's done that.
He's done. And for me, I would say academy. I'll go for the player squad overhaul. Definitely do that.
Yeah,
that's two. And the third one for me, the academy can wait till later on. But for me, oh man, yeah, definitely clean up the stadium, 100%, because it's absolute dire at the minute.
Clean up the stadium. Okay, Carl, would you say that could be more important than commercial deals?
It could be actually more important. There is a pigeon as well in there, the Gallagher, so that's got to get gone, hasn't it, John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thing is, though, it's an absolute mess. Even the birds, even got that pigeon as well on top of the Gallagher. Oh my God!
Your dream. Who is your dream signing? Carl, out of this lot or anyone else? Who'd your be one dream signing?
One dream signing, I'd go Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, John.
Oh, that's a tough one there for me. It's just I will have to go for me, Mbappe. But he's gonna go to Madrid anyway, so
yeah, I feel like the one that's like most realistic on that is Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, you know, like everybody else is really tied up, right? Like I mean, Mbappe is going to be Mbappe is going to.
Yeah, but Bargav, it doesn't matter about being tied up. It just means about who would you what.
I think Harry Kane could come there. Actually, do you think Harry Kane could come there though?
Oh fuck! Oh god, that would make me laugh. He goes to Newcastle, wins the first trophy at Newcastle.
He could go though.
Mate,
like I mean,
I would not stop laughing. I would not stop laughing for the whole year just to see that. It's only then Tottenham will go where he was in Arsenal's academy. Right, but who is your dream manager? Carl.
There's quite a few choices there, like tough choices as well.
You could have Rafa Benitez, you know, could have him back.
I think that ship sailed, unfortunately. It would be nice, but I don't think Rafa Benitez is going to be leaving Everton anytime soon.
To be fair, if he did leave Everton, I wouldn't say that would be out of thinking, because, and I'll speak for why, because he's got his new ownership. He will actually get backed.
True.
The only problem was he wasn't backed.
It is true that is why he left Newcastle, because he wasn't actually being backed in the window.
Yeah.
For me, out of them, Rafa is. I'm leaning towards Rafa, but I've always had a thing for Jose Mourinho being Newcastle United manager. He was Bobby's understudy at Barcelona. You know, he should have come here years ago. For me, Jose Mourinho, it has to be.
Sorry, Luca. It does take 5 to 10 years to address all the problems that are. Newcastle is like Arsenal times 10, right? No offense, guys, but it is. It is like the problem's doubled, like because of where you are in the league and everything like that. Right? And plus, you haven't got it's not like the third biggest club in the country. The reach that probably Arsenal have, right? So if we're going to take 5, but I'm saying what I'm saying is, if we had new owners, it would take 5. If we're saying it takes 5 to 10 years if new owners came to Arsenal to change the team and address it, of course it's going to take Newcastle 5 to 10 years to do the same thing, right? Plus, like the competition's far greater. Like having all the money in the world does not guarantee in 2-3 years you're going to be in Champions League and winning titles left, right, and centre. Right, QPR got loads of tons of money, and look where they are. They're in the Championship. Right, they spent on money on players, and then they got relegated. So it's not so much about how much money you have. It's sometimes also about the manager you have as well, and the infrastructure you've got in the club and the board you've got in the club as well. We have loads of money. Look where we are. We're falling.
Yeah, but that's like
so,
that's like an ideal situation with like like you just said, like a lot of contracts running out. People
Newcastle fan.
like I mean a lot of these managers, like if you pay them decent amount of money, they're gonna come in and
But like I said, it's Newcastle
like ground zero basically. You're at ground zero.
Luca, it's not 300 mil, it's 320 billion. Right.
It's 700 billion.
It's 700 billion. Okay, let's double it. Okay.
And also,
here we go. Look, it's like an auction. Any advances 700 billion, 700 billion. Oh, 800 billion in the corner.
It's not just that. Like they care about their. They do care about football a lot. That's the big difference.
Your dream manager, Carl. Your dream manager. Go for it. Pick one.
Jose Mourinho.
Oh, for God's sake, you had to pick the terrorist. The football terrorist.
What's wrong with Jose Mourinho? What's wrong with him?
Mate, trust me. Spend 3 seasons with him, then you'll see what the problem with Jose Mourinho is. He's definitely not a project manager, I can tell you that. Carl, you're no, John, sorry, you're manager.
Carl? Rafa Benitez awaited couple of months ago. He would be named as manager right now. Bruce to be gone right now. But for me, out of those lots who run a project, for me, I would say I have no problems with Diego Simeone. Okay, he may not be the player the best football, but he made the dark arts of football, but he works on that defense. And
to be fair, he doesn't make it look better than me. Yeah.
He makes that defense fantastic. And for me, he plays a 4-4-2. He doesn't alter things, 4-4-2 all the way. And they got some good players there. But for me, I'll say Simeone, but I don't think he gets sacked by electrical. But I can see Pochettino losing his job this season. And if he drops out, if he gets sacked, then his name could be on the list as well. But Jose is at Roma. I can't see him leaving Roma anytime soon. I think he'll see out his contract this time at Roma. He's got 3 years to run. But if I look for a manager, for me, if you want the best of British, I'll go Graham Potter.
Okay.
Graham Potter. Okay. Realistically.
Oh my God, that's the 2 favourite managers I wanted. Jesus Christ.
But one thing I would say to you as well, one thing I would say, right? Graham's got to ask himself a question. Who's the bigger club? Newcastle or Brighton? And who's got a bigger project? And who's going to...
Yeah.
I think that one's quite clear, isn't it, John? Who's the bigger club there?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit
of exposure there as well.
It's not so much about what was in the past and maybe changing for the league. All I can hear in the background is, hey, Graham Potter, ching.
Nice.
Yes. What do you want most from the new owners? Communication, community engagement, support or input, ambition, stability, or honesty. I'm going to go with Carl.
There's pretty much 2 that you could choose on there that are absolute standouts in something that we really didn't have under the previous ownership, and it's communication and ambition, and they've already shown that to me as a Newcastle fan. They've already shown that, to this fan base, and that is what is the key, in Newcastle: communication, ambition.
John, what did you say?
Amanda Staveley had 2 days, had more communication in 2 days than Ashley had in 14 years. Exactly. Let that sink in, guys. Yeah. But for me, communication is definitely, ambition is a must because they want to show us what ambition we need on the pitch. Other than that, honesty as well. Honesty with the fans. I think these guys are really honest with the fans. So importantly, those 3. Stability will come, 100%, but those 3. But out of those 3, I will see ambition. Ambitions for me, but communication.
I think ambition is definitely the one.
Yeah.
And the message for the new ownership group, I've got one. That could be one of it. I think it could be one, but yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. But like honestly, the like the ramifications for it could be shocking in some ways, but we'll have to see how it goes to start with. But I'm going to move on to next bit of news, which is was resolving obviously Brighton, which you just mentioned earlier. Yves Bissouma apparently has come out in the last 2 days, actually, and I'm surprised no one's really covered it. But Yves Bissouma has been arrested and charged with sexual assault. He's been charged with sexual assault, from what I'm gathering. I'm just going to try and bring up a news article about it. And despite it being the Sun, it is actually, by the way, guys, so don't shoot me on that it's from the Sun, but it is true. Brighton star Yves Bissouma bailed after getting arrested and marched out of a nightclub at 2 a.m. Being arrested and marched out in the early hours of City a.m. He did it. Well, from what I was said and told, it was Brighton Hove Albion News. Brighton Hove has been arrested on suspicion of sexual assault in a seafront nightclub. 2025 was filmed led out of the Arch nightclub on Brighton seafront by officers of Sussex Police in the early hours of the morning. 2 men have been arrested after a woman reportedly being sexually assaulted at a venue in Brighton in the early hours of the morning. A man in his 40s and a man in his 20s, both from Brighton, were arrested on suspicion of sexual assault and remain in police custody at the time. Now, this could really derail his whole career big time if this goes through. I mean, he's been talked about as being one of the bigger clubs to go from to looking at Arsenal even buying him. So this could be big, in terms of his career. What do you make of it, Carl? Obviously, it's not been convicted or been found guilty yet, but it's serious enough, clearly.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? You just don't want to see that, from somebody that's meant to be a role model, for so many people, kids, looking at that, caring about that as well. Fans of Brighton, kids growing up being fans of Bissouma, at Brighton, they'll be looking at that and I'm sure they'll be disappointed, and it's not a good role model. Definitely not a good role model. Hopefully, for his sake, the thing isn't true, but if he's being taken out in handcuffs, there's got to be some sort of truth to it, really, hasn't there? So yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah, John, your reaction to it?
Well, I'm shocked when he found he's been arrested, but if I was given 300 million to spend, that guy will be topping my list in midfield berth because this guy is absolutely brilliant. He is for me, he's the best midfielder holding on the Premier League. But if this is true, he's a naughty lad. I mean, I don't know what's going to come off it in court, but Cole just said there, if they put him handcuffs on him, it's quite serious. But he's been charged. That's why he's been bailed, right? I don't know what Brighton's going to do to him at this moment in time. They might suspend him until the court case comes up. But I don't really know the fully ins and outs on this case, if I'm honest. But one thing I will say, a sexual assault is a serious offence. But naughty lad, especially when you go out late as well. I mean, don't get us wrong, you can have a good time. But when you get exposed like that, it does look a good retailer for the club. The club will be embarrassed on this, I'm telling you. Because they invested a hell of a lot of time on this guy. And for me, I just think it's not going to be looking good. He hasn't been guilty yet, but it depends on the evidence. But I hope for his sake, he better get a good lawyer for that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Actually, all
Yeah.
these teams with their billionaire owners, at what point will the FA put a cap on transfers and wages? Because it's gonna become stupid now. And Newcastle has got a very good point as well. And like I said, it all just pushes to one sort of thing, and that is the ESL. So, Bargav, yeah, your thoughts on it? Obviously, as an Arsenal fan, we were looking at him, trying to buy him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna I have to wait on that because you have to remember like Callum Hudson-Odoi was
Yeah,
during lockdown he was charged with stuff and
this
it
is the
turned out
thing. It's all like it all depends on evidence, and he's not actually been
yeah,
convicted yet.
exactly. I mean, listen, I mean, it's not a good look that he got. I guess the difference with this one is like he got handcuffed and like taken to jail from at a nightclub. That usually doesn't happen. That's the only problem. But at the same time, what the hell was he doing out? Like, without like, like if you're an athlete, like you have enough money to like have your own like crew with you and stuff like that. But so like I don't know how the hell this happened, but we'll see. We'll see. Like I mean, before I say like he did it, he didn't do it. Like it's not fair for him. It's not fair to whom, and it's not fair to like whoever else is involved. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those you got to be tread really careful when you say. But obviously, it doesn't look good at the minute. But uh, hopefully it's resolved and it's turned out he hasn't done this. But we have to wait. We'll have to wait and see on it. I want to also mention, obviously, something that also bugged me as an Arsenal fan. Like, how is it like some managers can have two crappy performances and win 1-0, right? One decent performance against their arch rivals, where only because their rivals really didn't fight in that game, and because of that you get manager of the month. Right? Okay. Someone work that one out. For anyone that doesn't, how does Mikel Arteta get manager of the month for the performances he's put on in the last 3 games? Right? Brighton was back to reality, right? And what actually Arsenal are, which is crap. That couldn't even barely score against Norwich. Only reason we scored against Burnley was because it was a free kick. It wasn't outfield play or great play or anything like that. Spurs never really turned up. As much as it was a great win, we never turned up. They never turned up at all. That's why it was easy. So how is it this guy gets manager of the month? I can't work this out. And obviously now all the Arteta fans are jumping up and down saying, "Oh, look at us, man, manager of the month, so brilliant." Yeah, because that's like they're jumping around like they've won the World Cup. Honestly, right? Just because they want to maybe prove a point. I don't know. I'm not worried about what he does this month. I'm worried about what he wins in May, right? When he wins the big trophies. That's what I'm worried about. So, yeah, Bargav, can you explain to me why this guy gets manager of the month, or am I just blind with hate with Arteta? I don't know.
well, I'll put it this way. Like I mean, who else has had like 4 wins? Oh, sorry, 3 wins. 3 wins. My bad. In the last month. Not there's a lot of teams that drop points, so I guess like he's gonna be in contention for that because like 1 month he did really well.
Because he had 1
Doesn't
month
mean he was a
of
great
games.
manager. I mean, most of those wins were. I mean, we watch the games. Like they're not that great, but at the same time, like
they are so
3
bad.
wins.
It's unreal. I mean,
they are 3 wins.
I can guarantee you, like Carl. I don't know, Carl. Do you do watch-alongs to the Newcastle games?
I don't do the watch-alongs because I watch the matches with me dad and my brother. So we've done that for like ages. So I don't do any watch-alongs or anything like that.
Because I was gonna say you probably have more entertainment on your watch-alongs than I do in terms of the football.
I doubt it under Bruce.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, some of your games have been more entertaining than ours. Ours is like, I'm going to sleep now. I'm back. Like, I mean, I'm sitting on the edge of the bed here, and I'm just about to go, done. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't find a lullaby song, go watch an Arsenal game under Arteta. Trust me, it'll put you to sleep. Like, it's better than counting sheep, mate. Honestly. Like, if you're going to use it to count the number of shots we do to try and get you to sleep, don't bother. Like, if you want how many shots conceded, do you know what's funny is people say our defense is really good. Do you know how many shots conceded per game we get? It's mad. I'd actually show you the stats of that. I want to show the stats of that. Let me have a look. Let me try and get that Arsenal. I think it's on the Premier League website as well. So let me just get to it. Bear with me, guys. Arsenal FC. Let's go to accept all cookies. Stats. And I guess we've got to filter the seasons because, yeah, this season where we're supposed to be like better in terms of defense, shots conceded. How many shots conceded? I can't. How many? Swear you've been able to see it. Can't seem to see it actually. Oh no, goals! I can only see goals conceded per match. Damn. I'm gonna find it. Arsenal's. Anyway, I mean, this is why I wanted Graham Potter. I mean, we all mentioned about Graham Potter, but I mean, what do you make, like John? I mean, I think I probably just answered this earlier, but what do you make like of Graham Potter as manager with, and actually, how would he deal with what's happened with Bissouma as well?
Deal with who? So what's the end? Bissouma. How do you think you'll deal with him?
No, how do you think he will deal with him? And plus, how do you make him out as a manager?
Well, I think that would be down to the club, not him. I don't think he's the head coach, isn't he, at Brighton? I don't think he'll probably have a lot to say if he's the head coach, but I'm sure the Brighton hierarchy, or whatever you want to pronounce it, right? I mean, hierarchy. The people at the top, they probably deal like themselves, sort of thing. You know what I mean? But are they going to continue to play him? Well, he's got a charge over his head. I don't know, but I can actually see him getting suspended until the K course comes up. I could be wrong, but I could go back a couple of years ago when Adam Johnson got charged as well, and for sexual assault or whatever they call it, grooming young lass, this sort of thing. Right? He carried on for about a couple of weeks, and then they ended up suspending him anyway. And then Margaret Byrne, the Sunderland chief exec at the time, she walked out a couple of days later. She made a mistake. I think it's a hard one, you know. It's a very hard one. Are they going to defend the guy? Are they going to defend him? Are they going to look after him, sort of thing, you know? But it's a hard one. I think that's down to Brighton. If it's my way, I think he'd be suspended.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I actually just found it, actually. Shot creating actions against Arsenal, 90. 90. Right? That's nearly 10 shots per game. Over 10 shots per game. And people want to say we've got a great defense. Right? How? How? Because someone explained it to me. But there you go. It makes no sense to me. But, I mean, back to Newcastle. I mean, so was it top four by May then?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it will be in the top 4 by May. I think that's been a bit too expectative of the new owners.
It's like being an Arteta in fan, isn't it?
I would say more. If we could finish top half of the table this season, I'd take that. Okay. Nothing crazy, you know, not pushing for top 4 or that, you know, if we can, you know, top half finish, that would be great. You know, it's better than finishing in the places that we've finished over the past few seasons. You know, we've had 13 place finishes, we've had 17 place finishes. The highest we ever had, you know, under the previous regime under Ashley was a 5th place finish, and that was under Alan Pardew, you know, and it wasn't even his ability as a manager, you know, that actually got with that. It was down purely to the players that we had at the time, just, you know, soaking in the passion of the fans there that were enjoying the ride at that time as well, when we were a pretty decent side at that point as well. We did have some really good runs of results in that, and that's not by any means given any credit whatsoever, you know, to the likes of Pardew or Mike Ashley, you know, because we're really not great, but we're just for some reason having a really good time at that point. And at that point as well, I was lucky enough, and my family was lucky enough, you know, to have the season ticket for 2 seasons. But unfortunately, you know, couldn't get the season ticket for the season when we went into Europe. But I wouldn't say top 4 finish, but I don't know what John thinks about that. But for me, I wouldn't say top 4 finish. I'd say top half.
Okay, so yeah, John, would you agree with that top half? And
Yeah,
I'd
take
also have
top
this
half all
other
day
question.
long.
I would also ask this
I'll
question
take-
as well. I mean,
Go.
I would ask this about, like, if you're looking forward to next season, what would you expect for next season? Now looking at the project that's going to be lying ahead. So obviously more will come out about this project later on as time gets on.
Sure.
I'll let
first of all-
John hear that.
Yeah, thank you. Take a top half this season, right? If you finish 12th, 13th, or if you stay in the Premier League, I'd take it last, and then we can start afresh and build on and bring in some quality players at the club. But the following season, if we're in the Premier League, I'd take top 8 or top 9 and a trophy to get FA Cup.
Oh wow, that's okay. I mean, like, obviously you're in the FA Cup, anyone, and I still say this: anyone could win it. Like, that's why it's the FA Cup, and we love it so much. So, plus I say that because I want to make the excuse. I don't want to see us winning it as using it as an excuse. The same with good. But yeah, so for me, I think for Newcastle, for me, like, staying in the league obviously is a paramount. I think you would have done that even if you had Mike Ashley, Steve Bruce anyway. I didn't really feel Newcastle would have go down this season anyway. But now, obviously, with these new owners, you're definitely not going down. That's definitely it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can then depends how the transfer window for the first transfer window comes and how good you'd be good at attracting players. Because, again, as much as you might have the money, it's all about, like, does the player really want to come and play at Newcastle as well? So I think you will have the pull. You are a big club, so say if you do a good transfer window, I would say definitely top half. If you could get a cup, that's a bonus. And then next season, you could probably then go and further improvement. You can then go say, okay, we should be trying to get into Europe, or maybe even in the if you get to the Conference League, then you could push maybe for Europa League the next year. So
yeah,
like I said, so then obviously baby steps like onto it. So at least one thing is that your project or process, I don't know what, like, I'm getting Arteta fans saying it's now Project Youth, so it's gone from process to Project Youth. So basically their project or process changes whenever the agenda suits them. So at least yours will stay the same, and it will actually be a process or progress forward. So and it'd be nice to see Newcastle back up there, to be honest, because I grew up Newcastle were always an hard team to beat. So yeah, it'd be nice to see a big club back to where it should be. So, as much as it might replace Arsenal in the top 6.
Yeah. The thing is, though, as well, I will say, right, that if we get relegated, right, by a goal difference or by a couple of points, then Steve Bruce will get it in the neck for this, because he should have gone at the end of the season, last season, against Brighton. I mean, Carl, you're right. I mean, 7 wins in 35. That is relegation form, that. And I'll tell you something else as well, right? I mean, that would be down to Ashley as well, because to get relegated, Bruce and Ashley are the blame, because Bruce should have gone, and we should have done it. We should have got rid, and yet again, it's an indecision in this decision. Bad decision by Ashley yet again. It's a joke. But let's hope we start winning games starting the next Sunday, and I'll be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, I was going to watch along, but I've been told to go up. I'm going to do it. I got the money off, so I'm okay.
Definitely do it, man. Definitely, I think it'll be definitely a feel-good factor around Newcastle as well. So, yeah. So, anyway, we're gonna have to end it there, guys. Make sure to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button as usual. Thanks to John for coming on. Where can they find you, mate?
You can find us on Twitter, John_NUFC42, and on my podcast, the YouTube podcast is John Sinclair NUFC. And just before you go, I just want to pass respect to Guna Igalai Chiggy Chig. He's been on League Gunner's channel every week, and League Gunner, big up to my guy, if you're listening, right? But God rest in peace. And Chig, miss you, bro. Absolutely miss you. And rest in paradise, Chig. We'll miss you. This guy, one of the best podcasters as an Arsenal fan. And it'll be truly sad and missed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, guy is absolutely a legend and always supportive of me whenever I went on the League Gunners channel. So yeah, big up to Chig and rest in peace, and big up to Lee as well. Carl, where can I find you, mate?
You can find us at 100% Mags here on all social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us at 100% Mags with obviously a percentage mark instead on YouTube. And of course, the same as John, I'd like to pay my respects as well. And, I never knew the guy, but I'd like to pay my respects to him. He seems like a really nice guy from what I've seen of him on the podcasts and stuff like that. And, it's a shame to see somebody as talented as that, go so soon. And it just seems to be happening a lot these days. And, we need to be careful where we're going, careful what we're doing, and live every moment that we can, in life is so it's our last day,
Life's too, it's like I said, life's too short, man. So
and Claude as well.
Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
And it's like I say every time, because obviously with what I do as well, and I've only been out of hospital just last week as well. So it's just like you always make most of what you got. So and like life's too short in the end. So there we are. But there you go. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe, share the stream, and we're back tomorrow with the watch along for the Grand Prix itself, which is at 12:40. Then the reaction at 4 p.m. as well to that as well. So make sure you all tune in for that. Until then, everyone stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
You too, Steve. You too, Cole.